Hello and welcome to the Record Sport Hotline Live. My name is Daniel Caw and I'm delighted to be joined by Record Sport's Andy Newport and Michael Gannon. Guys, how goes it?
Not bad, sir. Not bad, chaps. How are you guys? All right?
Very well. Very well. Just trying to juggle hotlining, working, getting the living room done up, and the two kids coming home from school. So just your usual Tuesday afternoon.
I miss seeing Jacko and wee Scotty with our beer sitting in front of me, torching the life out of me. It's not as much as I'm enjoying seeing you guys. I do miss their wee faces sitting there all happy as Larry with their wee pints in front of them.
Well, I should say, obviously it's match day -1, so the guys are on press conference duty. But I did catch up with them a little bit earlier on in Cologne. We'll have a little bit of that coming up. But I think the best place to start, guys, is on questions. Just dive right in. The Hotline Live response, particularly on Facebook, has been brilliant. So I should say, if you're watching, leave a comment or you can email us. I'm going to start with a nice simple one, guys. We've got one here from... sorry, I've lost my comment now. Got one here from Alexander McGuinness. How many changes would you guys make from Friday's team against Switzerland tomorrow, obviously?
Go first, Mick.
Fire in, mate. Dive in so I can copy your answers.
I think I said in the paper this week, I think I would definitely bring in Gilmore for starters. I just think that was such a big call by Steve Clarke, and I'm not sure dropping him for the Germany game. I'm not sure that it would have made, in terms of the final result, but I just think it would have given us a lot more composure, control of the ball, something we just utterly lacked in Munich. So I would be looking to bring him in, just somebody who's comfortable handling the ball and can at least, when he gets on it, just can look up and try and pick a pass and try and at least get his moving up the park as a team together rather than just launching 60-yard balls up to a striker who's got 4 defenders marking him. So I'll be looking to bring him in. I think we need to be bold. We can't die wondering in this game. So I'll be looking to go James Forrest at wing back and potentially maybe bring in Lawrence Shanklin up front as well, just depending if they think they can get the bodies right about the strikers. Again, that was something I thought we really struggled to do. Shea Adams was just so isolated at times on Friday night. So I think that the name of the game is we have to get a McGinn, a McTominay round about the striker and at least try and build some pressure as a unit. It's just something we totally failed to do at the other night. So I'll be looking for starters of those three changes. Obviously the centre half. So I think I would maybe go with McKenna coming in for Porteous and see how that gets us. So I think there'll be the changes I would be making for I think that is.
What do you think, Mick?
Yeah, I think I would be inclined to go McKenna at centre half. I think it'll be Grant Hanley, right enough. I think Steve Clarke, Hanley's his kind of go-to guy, but I'm a wee bit worried about his fitness. Grant Hanley, I saw him in the game against Finland at Hampden, and he was kind of rusty like an old gate, wasn't he? For a while, and chucked in again the other night. Difficult game to get chucked into. I guess I think it's hard to judge anyone in those circumstances, but. Yeah, I think Hanley will get the nod. I would perhaps be inclined to go with McKenna as well. Gilmore's an interesting one. Listen, we're a wee bit in danger here of kind of inflating the guy by his absence. I mean, a player gets far better. They don't see him. I mean, I think he's a good little player. He's not always been a starter under Steve Clarke. I mean, again, didn't start him the other night, which everyone was kind of up in arms about. I don't think you'd have made that much of a difference to what happened. I think it's more a structural problem in the squad rather than an individual problem. I think the way we set up and the gaps between the defence and the midfield was wild. We didn't. I think I said last night on the show. I think they get spooked in the very first minutes trying to press, and they beat the press, and it put Scotland on the back foot. They didn't really know where to go or where to sit, and they did neither. So I think it was more a structural problem than a player problem. So. Does Clarke cave to kind of the overwhelming public pressure to start Billy Gilmore? Possibly. It wouldn't surprise me if he stuck with the same kind of midfield, with Christie perhaps sitting a deeper role. You don't want to get McTominay further back. You want him up the pitch, like Andy was saying. You want him up supporting, getting into the box. You want McGinn bursting into the box. You need a different kind of game, this, isn't it? It's not a game we need to try and see out. It's a game we need to get a result in.
You wouldn't have even known McTominay was playing the other night, would you? It was.
All right. I mean, again, it worried me in the build-up, him not playing any of those friendlies. And I know the reasons. He had a wee knock at the end of the season, didn't he? And it kind of concerned me. And I didn't see anything the other night to suggest that he's 100%, but I didn't see anything to suggest that he's not, because it's that kind of game that kind of passed him by, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it passed everyone by in the Scotland team. So it's a hard one to judge. I hope he's 100% fit. We want to see the McTominay that we saw against Spain, don't we? That kind of action, big driving runs into the box and all that stuff and getting chances. And it was terrific in qualifying. So we need that Scott McTominay. We just need Scotland to get a bit more about them, don't we, this game? It was such a kind of anti-climax on Friday. In terms of saying personnel, I think does he change it? Right, I mean, right back. I know Tony Ralston had a tough night again, like everyone else did. Do you stick with Tony or do you bring in Ross McCrory? I think Ralston's got the nod in terms of big game experience and big club experience. I think he'll stay there. So I don't think there'll be that many changes. I think it'll be a case of one or two at most. I think, yeah.
Andy, if Gilmour is to start, who drops out for you anyway?
I think I went in the paper that I would drop Callum McGregor, and I think that was just on the basis that I think we have to be bold. I think
drop Callum McGregor.
Yeah, steady. I just think that we have to have something. I think we need to have legs in midfield. I don't think there's any point in going.
You don't think Callum McGregor's got legs?
Steady.
The guy who plays 65 games a season.
Steady.
No, but I think that's one thing he does have.
Can I just make my point, please, Michael? Is that all right?
I can't even hear that.
I just think that in terms of the guys ahead of him, I think I would want to have a Christie, I'd want to have a McTominay and want to have a McGinn. Guys that are going to go up there and get around the striker. As I said, it's something we totally failed to do. And I just think, listen, it's a toss-up between Gilmour and McGregor, because I think that they're two excellent players, but I just think Gilmour's a guy that I look back at that game at Holland, where I thought that's as good as I've seen Scotland play for a long time for 70 minutes. Okay, we know that the final result was horrible in the night, but for 70 minutes we looked like a proper international football team, and I thought most of that came down to just how Gilmour controlled the tempo, how brave he was on the ball, how brave he was to get in the ball. So, listen, I think we're going to come on to some of the criticism of Callum McGregor that's come. I think it was harsh. At the end of the day, as Mick says, nobody in a dark blue jersey get past Marks the other night. So, but I just think in this one, I look at that game against Holland, I see that was a template for how Scotland should be playing against these sort of better rated nations. So, listen, it's a tough decision. It's the fact that it's the one area of the team that we're strong in. It's one area of the team that the manager's probably got a real headache in terms of how he picks and chooses. So that would be how I would go with it.
Well, I just think that you're going up against Granit Xhaka in there, who I saw on Saturday ran the show for Switzerland. I think you need somebody in there who's just going to harass the life out of him, and I don't think that's Billy Gilmour. I think he's a nice little player on the ball, passing the ball out from defence, collecting it, moving it on. I mean, I don't think he's the most incisive of passers of ball going forward, but he keeps the possession. But I think if you want somebody that's going to run all day and keep on Xhaka's case, I think that's got to be Callum McGregor. That's just the way I see it. But
the other kind of aspect to the personnel that's generated a big reaction amongst the Tartan Army on a Record Sport Facebook page is the prospect of Grant Hanley coming in. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but Angelo Gregg here saying he's seen a garden snail move quicker, a wee bit harsh. But Jerry Banks here pointing out Grant Hanley's managed just 8 league appearances for Norwich in 23-24. Surely McKenna's got to be the more sensible option. I know you guys both went with McKenna, but I think I'm right in saying it probably will be Hanley, won't it?
Listen, we all know that Steve Clarke has guys that he trusts, guys that he tends to go to more often than not, but I'm a bit like Mick. I just think I look at that, that lack of action that he's had this season with injury issues that he's had. Again, that game at Finland, at Hampden, before the team flew out, Mick's absolutely right. He looked a wee bit shaky, to say the least. And listen, it's a horrible game to come into on Friday night there. 3-0 down, coming at half time with 10 men. I think he got a wee bit of stick for the full crew goal. I don't think he could do too much. It's just one of those ones where the ball bounces off him. But for me, McKenna, he's played in the Champions League last 16 game this season, I think, with Copenhagen against Man City. So for me, he's the more battle hardened of the two options there. So I think that'd be the way I would go.
the one thing I would say about Big Grant Hanley is he's an absolute warrior who will get wired right in. I mean, he's been a great servant for Scotland through the years. Fit or no fit, he is a guy who you want to be in your corner and fighting your case. So if he is, I think he will get the nod. He will be someone who will be a leader on the pitch. Who'll get wired right in. So yeah, I think it's all the only concern we've got is what we're saying. Is he fully up to speed match fitness wise? And obviously he's not, but hopefully that adrenaline will get him through it.
The other, obviously mentioned Cal McGregor there as well, guys. The other thing that's prompted a lot of comments is Graeme Souness. And I know, Mick, we talked about it a little bit last night in last night's Hotline Live, but Graeme Souness referring to him as the Celtic captain during Friday night's broadcast. A lot of fans seem to think that it wasn't, or it was more than just an honest mistake. John here saying, so Graeme Souness, pun intended, said in defence that he couldn't remember his name. Some pundit he is, it's time to go. I like this one from Martin Decor as well. Does Souness think we come up the Clyde in a banana boat? No wonder Sky chased them. I mean, you thought it was an honest mistake, didn't you, Mick?
I did. I watched it at the time, and I thought he looked like a guy who was grasping for a name. See that way when your mental filing cabinet's empty and you're frantically shifting for the name. And I genuinely think that's what he did. Listen, you know what's happening here? This is the most boring debate about the whole Euros. This is everyone getting dragged into the Old Firm blender. They can't just park it for a few weeks for let's concentrate in Scotland. They've got to find a way to fight each other about something. Like, you know what? It was something that happened. It was nearly a week ago, for goodness sake. It was a mistake he made. He said he forgot. Listen, you got to take him at face value. I tend to agree with him, but come on, man, let it go.
Andy, I thought he was probably at it, but what do you think?
Nah, I mean, listen, Graeme Souness is a guy who spent the vast majority of his career playing, managing in England, who still lives in England. How much attention does he pay to Scottish football? I'd be willing to bet not that much, which maybe I'm a bit concerning given his his role at Rangers as a consultant to the board, or the role he did have. I genuinely just think he's had a, if you want to call it, a senior moment, and it's escaped. The name's escaped him, and that's the way he's went. So no, I don't think we need to look at any more ulterior motives than that.
Aye. Well, look, I mentioned earlier that Keith and Scott aren't obviously with us tonight, but I did catch up with them a little bit earlier on in Cologne. I should say, I don't know, you'll have seen that the storms have hit Cologne throughout the day. It did play havoc with our signal a little bit, but I thought it was important to get the guys on the show. It wouldn't be the Hotline Live without them. Here's what they had to say. It's lovely to see you both in Cologne. I'm sorry you're not on the show again tonight, but how's your day been?
Well, it's been long.
I'm going to say travel chaos. It's not really been
It's been long.
The last half hour.
Listen, what do we tell you? The key to happiness is stay put and garnish. Don't leave the bubble.
Don't leave our happy place.
We've left the happy place. And fine. Long. It was like an hour and a bit to Munich, and then four and a bit hours up to even Cologne. As soon as we got here, what do you know? The sun was absolutely splitting the skies for the first time, by the way, in about a week in Garmisch Park and Kirchen. We get up here, thunderstorms. They've had to cancel the fan zones, Trek to Life, etc. And as we were making our way in the stadium, it was battering down Scott, wasn't it?
I was wondering if Wolfgang, the taxi driver, was going to get us here.
We had the worst piece. We were in the worst Uber in Germany with wee Wolfgang. And there were times when I was afraid. In fact, I was more worried about that than I was in the cable car.
And even you're saying the media working areas out of use because of the storms.
We just got here and we're told that the media working area is not safe to work in because of electrical storms. The good news is the pitch looks all right.
You two have been
following the rainstorms.
You two have been a good luck charm this tournament. Honestly, everywhere you go, it's everything you touch turns to gold, eh?
Look, the American kind of storm chasers that go after tornadoes. That's what we've been doing. We've been rampaging up and down Germany, falling thunder and lightning storms.
Every time the sun comes out,
let's go someplace else.
Scott, I
right,
understand.
What do you need to know?
I understand, Scott, you were in the fan zone at one point today, or you had a wee visit?
No.
Was there? Do you mean the picture? Yeah, the
Aye.
storm alert.
That's it.
That was just the city centre. Just the city centre.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Sorry, I thought that was
just
the fan
outside
zone.
of the hotel,
So
actually.
we passed a couple of fan zones, and sure enough,
Yeah.
they were dubbed up.
Yeah. The place
I should say-
is bracing itself for, I don't know, what's supposed to come tonight?
I should say as well, guys, that I know you're obviously not on the show tonight. I can't get many questions out of you, but I did think I'd pass on this one comment from Andy McElroy, who's written in saying,
aye.
the Hotline Live, more like Keith and Scott's honeymoon voyage.
What? What? We like each other. What's the problem here?
Just enjoying ourselves
He's a hard guy not to like.
and working hard.
In fact, when we just checked in at the hotel there, the three guys behind the desk seem to really like you as well. It's a funny wee thing. I think it's just the wee chubby cheeks.
A
I'm a likeable
sitcom
guy.
waiting to
You are a
happen.
likeable guy.
So, guys, what's on the agenda today then? Or tonight?
I think we're just about to speak to Manuel Akanji for Switzerland, obviously Man City, big name, one of a few big names in the Swiss team. You think about their two centre-backs, Akanji and Shah, both playing Premier League top six. I think the keepers at Inter Milan just won Serie A. So I don't think we can underestimate this Swiss side, especially after the first game beating Hungary 3-1. So it'll be interesting to see what he's got to say. And then Steve Clark will arrive with a Scotland player, but we don't know who yet.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing you were saying, Scott, that Akanji was part of that Borussia Dortmund side that get packed out of
Yeah, it was.
the Europa League by Rangers. So, you know, he'll come into this not of a mind to take Scottish teams for granted because of that, probably. I kind of wish that he would, though. I kind of wish that he'd just take us thing for dog. We've got 3 points. We can now bank another 3, and that's us into the knockouts. I want them to take us for granted, as we were discussing last night. Steve Clark, well, we'll need to speak to him about, you know, I don't think there's been any more injury issues at the camp. If there has, we'll find out, but I wouldn't have imagined so. And it's just, I think the real thing with Steve Clark now is, has he been able to work on the mentality of his players? Has he reconnected with them? Has he got them in a better mental place than they were when they left United Friday night? Because that kind of felt a bit like rock bottom.
So the thing is, I mean, it's wrong for us to say these words and we're going to get these two press conferences here, but I just if it's almost like time the talking has to stop now, doesn't it? I mean, talk.
We've heard too much. I don't know.
There's so much said about the Germany game, so much hype. We're going to do this, going to do that. It'll be interesting to see what a message they put out before this one, because they need to go and deliver now. There can be no excuses. I mean, Germany was bad, but you get away with it because it's Germany, because they're the host, it's opening, but there can be no such excuses this time.
I just realised, by the way, now I'm actually thinking about that email that you've had there talking about our honeymoon together. I had a bite of your sausage earlier on today. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, Scott.
You're the first person that's ever said that.
Just to explain, Scott introduced me to...
Currywurst.
Oh, no.
Yeah, currywurst. It was lovely.
Rotten. Honestly.
Currywurst and chips on the train.
Do you know, I know you've obviously, you're pressed for time, guys, but very quickly, Joe's written in as well. He's saying, how does this trip compare to others the guys have been on? Where do they rate the best places they've been? I mean, is this been one of the best kind of press trips you guys have been on?
I mean, obviously I'm stuck with him, a lot of it. So that kind of... Actually, to see, to be fair, that brightens my day. I like seeing the wee man in the morning. Makes me happy. Look, who wouldn't be happy about hanging about with that? If the weather had been better, it would have been utterly sensational. Yeah. But I think we absolutely love our wee bubble in Garmisch Partenkirchen. Actually, I'm only looking forward to getting back to it. I've only been in this city about 10 minutes.
What about other doing it you've done, but you've done a lot. How does this compare?
Well, the good thing about it is, and the bad thing is, usually if I'm doing a Euros, I'm going about from city to city, covering everybody else because we're not there. So you're covering it with your Scottish nose pressed up against the window. I love this because it's the first time since France '98 that we've been at a tournament abroad. Unfortunately, the football has taken the shine off it on Friday night. Listen, I tell you something. See if we get the performance. Even just a point will do for me. If we get a point,
everything will change
tomorrow night. The whole thing changes, and then it's like, come on, all roads lead to where is it? Stuttgart was the final game against Hungary, and the buzz then. The Munich was an absolute buzzkill, wasn't it? Everybody's kind of knocked. It's knocked the stuff in it. Everybody after that, but it could reignite again with a good performance, a result that keeps us alive, and the thing will start to kick on, and hopefully, at some point, it'll stop raining.
Well, we're definitely owed a performance. That's to say the least.
They owe it to themselves. They don't owe it to anybody else but themselves. They're too good. They performed too well. The qualification campaign was exceptional. They are quality players. They owe it to themselves first and foremost. They owe it to their manager. And if they turn up and if they get the job done, then we can all start to look forward again to something exciting.
We've got optimistic Keith back. See, disappeared for a couple.
That's my alter ego.
Look, guys, I'll let you go on. I know you've got a packed schedule, so thank you very much for joining me, though. And we'll see you in the Hotline Live again soon. There you go. Again, I apologise for the signal there, but it wouldn't be the Hotline Live without Keith and Scott, and we hope the Lovebirds are having a lovely night over in Cologne. Would that make you a bit jealous, Mick?
I was just thinking, last night we had the Von Trapps up the mountains, and tonight we've got Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong for the dark side of the moon.
We're going to actually go back to Germany in a few minutes and speak to Ryan Carroll, who is over in Cologne for us as well. But just before we do, I want to fit in one more or a couple more questions, if that's okay, guys. I really didn't think I'd be going down this route during the Euros, but Steve Clarke has been taking an absolute pounding in the comments from a lot of fans. I mean, there's even people here saying that Clarke could go if the rest of this group stage doesn't go well. Raymond Hay, if you continue to play 3 centre-backs and 2 left wing-backs, same team, you should be sacked immediately. This one as well from Ian McCulloch. Steve Clarke's done very well. If we don't progress beyond the group, a change would be appropriate. More of the same will not work. And just finally, Tyler Nisbet. We've won one game out of 9. It was against Gibraltar. The tactics are terrible and far too defensive. I mean, what do you guys make of that? I mean, it seems a little bit harsh from where I'm standing, but what do you think?
Listen, let's calm down a bit. Do you know what I mean? We got to do it all night. But I mean, Steve Clarke is now taking us to 2 major tournaments. I mean, there's 200,000 folk in Tartan Army in Germany having the time of their lives, despite the result the other night, thanks to the efforts of Steve Clarke and this squad. I think the job is his as long as he wants it. He wants it, to be fair. Listen, it's not just fans. I've seen a few pundits saying that if we don't get through the group, there'll be questions asked as well. I mean, do people forget where we were? I mean, 5 years ago, do they forget going to Kazakhstan and getting humiliated? Did they forget some of the disasters we had over the years? We're now a serious football nation again. And all right, we're with a bad start to this Euros, but we're there, which is good. Better than, listen, myself and Andy and yourself, Danny, we're fairly young guys. We've not seen Scotland in a tournament since the 90s. I mean, It's like most of our adult life. Yeah, what was that? That was 18, 19 at France 98. So to be at these events, I mean, it's tremendous. It's not been great, and if it doesn't get the group and we get gubbed a couple of times, yeah, there's going to be questions. That's the nature of football, and knees all jerk all over the place. But in the cold light of day, he's done a phenomenal job, and I don't think anyone should be even questioning the future of the manager. His job as long as he wants it.
I couldn't agree more, Mick. I mean, I think I said this last time I was on the Hotline Live last week, that I think I skipped double geography to go and watch Scotland kick off against Brazil in France 98. I mean,
what were you teaching?
I mean, like, Mick's absolutely. You spent tournament after tournament sitting there going, wouldn't this be great if we could be one of the nations competing? Never really known what it was like, and here we are, 2 Euros in the trot, got to a playoff for the World Cup, a couple of games away from reaching the World Cup in Qatar. Our coefficient will be rising, we're seeding, it should be great. We've got the back door of the Nations League. But again, it's all about Steve Clarke. He's managed to get us over that hump, twice now. So to even suggest, listen, we all know Munich was an awful night. It was soul destroying to the extent, an absolute buzzkill, as Jacko says there. But listen, we've still got 2 games, and the beauty of this tournament is, you can get away with a defeat. You can perhaps even get away, if you're really lucky, get away with 2 defeats and still make it through. So, listen, I don't think we should lose faith yet. Listen, I think, judging by the comments from the players, they all know how awful it was. They're aware of how much the nation feels that they've been let down, and they seem to me a group of guys that are determined to go out there and make amends and try and restore some pride. And I hope they can do that, and I believe they can. They just need to get back to that sort of buzz that was that sense of mojo that was going through the team this time last year. If they can get that back, and just all it takes is one sort of an early goal, tomorrow night, and it could be the catalyst for just a changing feeling, a changing belief, and you see that growth throughout the squad. And I just hope that's what does happen, because the team have worked so hard to get us here, and they were tremendous in qualifying. Yeah, I think the scheduling of some of the friendlies, the quality, the calibre of the teams that were taking on in those games has just knocked a wee bit of the belief, knocked a bit of the stuffing out of them. But if they can get a result tomorrow night, then these were in a great position to qualify, and what a lift that would give to everyone who's a member of the Tartan Army.
Aye, absolutely. Right, we'll come back to some questions a little bit later, guys, but like a glamorous guest, and Ryan Carroll is live from Cologne.
How you doing, folks? The heavens have just opened here. It's absolutely pouring. I was sitting there waiting for you, and it was all right, and it's just absolutely started pouring. So yeah, I'm hiding under a tree at the moment.
Classic timing.
Yeah, perfect timing, guys.
How's it been over there, Ryan? How's Cologne?
It's been brilliant. It's been the last couple of days have been a wee bit calmer than Munich. But sort of Saturday, we arrived on Saturday and it was pretty calm. There was obviously Scotland chants throughout the night, but it was pretty calm compared to Munich. And then sort of from last night, or maybe even the night before, it's been all Scotland in the sort of main altar market, which is the sort of Marienplatz of Cologne. So there's fans packed out there just now. They're not too bothered about the rain. They're just still. We were talking to them this afternoon. There was folk waiting for the pubs to open at about 11 or 12 o'clock, just standing outside waiting for them to open. So despite the weather, which has been a wee bit disappointing, the fan zone had to shut today because there was a storm warning. And it never ended up being actually too bad throughout the afternoon. They probably could have opened it if they knew it was, if they knew it wasn't going to be as bad as it was. But as we speak, it's kind of finally the heavens have opened. So it's been kind of grey and a bit rainy all day. But this is the worst. I think the actual moment that you came to me is the worst it's been.
I know you've been out, Ryan, talking to some of the Tartan Army, getting predictions, what have you. And we'll get to that in a little minute. But what's the mood been like? I mean, obviously in Munich it was like a party.
Yep.
How is it now after that defeat to Germany?
Well, when we spoke to folk on Saturday and Sunday, the heads were still a bit down. It was still, folk were so disappointed in the performance. I think, there was all the excitement in the build-up to the game on Friday, and everyone was like, we're going to win, or we'll at least get a point. And then I think because the performance was so bad, people were really disappointed about that. So, but as it's got closer to the game, you're noticing a sort of change in the optimism. Folk today are like, yeah, we're gonna do it. But I think some of the folk I've spoken to are just saying, look, we want to at least give it a go. We've spent a lot of money coming out here and we're having a brilliant time, but we want the team to at least put in a good performance. So folk, I think we can do it tomorrow, but I think more than anything else, they really want to see a good performance on the pitch.
I think we can actually. Sorry, go ahead.
Tell me, what's the pricing like out there? I've got a few mates that are over there and they're going out for the full duration. What's a pint of lager costing you out there, or a stein of lager? Is it affordable, or are you having to sort of remortgage the house when you come back?
It's not too bad, to be honest. It's about, most places are about €5 or €6, so it is expensive. But the amount of prices have gone up at home, it's not a huge amount of difference once you convert it back to pounds. So it's been about €5 a pint. But the Steins, I think they've been making the money off the Steins, because the Scots, you're not seeing any Germans drinking Steins. It's just the Scots. We're just like, it's a novelty of it, and it's never going to wear off, I think. So they're about €13 for a Stein. But everyone that I've been speaking to has been like, well worth it, and we're getting pictures of them holding up their Steins and stuff like that. It is a novelty, but yeah, but it's not too bad. I think a lot of folk have obviously saved up all throughout the year to come here, so they were expecting it. I don't think it's been like mega surprising, the prices.
The big question, right? We tried the wee small beers in Cologne. The wee
200 mls. Yeah, they're great. I had a couple of them yesterday, last night.
It's a bit dangerous. They do wee tally marks on your beer mat, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so I went out, managed to meet my pal who was out here last night, actually, which was great. We went out for a bite to eat and watched the France game, and they were doing the tally marks and they were tallying along, sort of thing.
You've got to be careful.
I don't want to know quite how many I've had, but no, it wasn't. It was all sensible, of course. But yeah, no, it's the weather since we arrived has been the only disappointment, really.
I was going to say, you've got to be careful with the beer mats, because I remember being in Cologne, my beer mat looked like the Shawshank Redemption's wall. There's that many tally marks.
How are the boys pacing themselves out there? Because I was speaking to Tam McManus or Colin earlier on today, and I think he'd been out for a couple last night, was feeling the after effects. Are they managing to keep themselves in good order throughout the whole week that they're there?
Well, it's funny, you're noticing the difference when we're speaking to people in the morning. So folk are kind of a wee bit like, a bit rough, sort of quite quiet, very sort of sensible-ish. Well, quite sensible, let's say. But then by the time it gets to the night, they're like, Scotland are going to win, we're getting through the group. They're absolutely steaming and it's full of optimism. But yeah, when you're getting a sort of more intellectual chat out of them in the morning when they're a bit rough, but yeah, there was a few. There was a few
life choices,
yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, definitely. I think especially on Sunday morning or Monday morning when people were coming across, I think there was a lot of hangovers. But they're right back in the swing of it now, as you can imagine.
What's your plan, Ryan, for the game tomorrow? Will you manage to get a ticket by any chance?
No, same as Munich, so it's the same situation. We're going to the fan zone. So there's a couple of fan zones here, so we'll need to decide what's going to be the best one to catch the Scots. So there's one right in the city centre, which is beside the Altar Market where everyone's been drinking, and the Altar Market's brilliant. So it's sort of like a big square with loads and loads of bars. So everyone's been there all since Friday basically. But there's a fan zone there, but it's quite small, tiny compared to the Munich one. But they've also got one down the river where apparently there's going to be 50,000 people, and it's one that they've put on as well. And I think, not 100%, but they've got a few different places where they've got big screens, and one of the ones you can bring your own beers and bring your own food and stuff like that. So I think the Scots might go for that option more, especially after having to wait 3 hours for a beer in Munich. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. The main one in the city centre is good as well, but that's the official one that was got the bars and there was a bit of a queue. Some fans that were here for the Germany game, so obviously some fans have come across just to stay in Cologne for the week or whatever, and they said it was a bit of a wait for the beers, but I think it was more like 45 minutes rather than 3 hours. Mm-hmm.
And as I say, you've been out chatting to the Tartan Army. I think we've got a little clip here at the moment. Let's have a look and see how you got on.
Cheers.
Surely we can't play as bad as we did on Friday night. It was absolutely shocking. Unfortunately, the team just didn't perform. And really, when you look at his last 8 friendlies out of the last 10, he's played the top teams in Europe, and we've struggled. So tomorrow night, he has to get the lads fired up and get some sort of result.
No Scotland, no party! No Scotland, no party!
It's going to be a tough game. I think Switzerland will score, but we'll still win 4-1.
Okay, you still think we've got a chance of getting out of the group?
Yeah, you've always got to believe, but that's probably false optimism.
Easy, mate, easy.
2 wins. 2 wins now, aye. We've got it, man, we've got it.
Last chance saloon for me, I think. We have to get some sort of result. So yes, we've got to make that happen on Wednesday.
Okay, and a message for the team?
Do it. Please do it. Please do it.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel more positive after watching that.
I feel half cut just watching it. The fumes could be my laptop here.
Ryan, I can't let you go without a prediction. How do you think Scotland will get on tomorrow night?
Well, I'm hoping we're going to get a 2-1 win, but even if we get a draw, it keeps us in it. I think we know that we need 4 points really to get out of the group, so I'm hoping 2-1 win, John McGinn. But if it comes to a point, I'll take it. And we'll do Hungarians on Sunday. I'm not too far from the Alter Market here. I know you guys have been enjoying me taking you out to show the scenes. Would you like me to take you down?
Absolutely, aye. If it's
Right,
possible.
okay. Right, what we'll do, I'll do the usual walkthrough, and I might lose you, but if not, I'll give you a bit of a flavour of it. So, in the background here is the famous Cologne Cathedral.
Looking good.
So it's right in the heart of it, sort of where everyone's been gathering. It's a beautiful city. It's really, really nice. I'd never actually been before, and been able to have a wee walk around it is really, really beautiful. So, as I walk you down, so bear in mind the cathedral's there. This is the sort of main road towards the Alter Market, and you'll quite quickly see the chaos, I'm sure.
How does it compare to Munich, Ryan, as a city?
I prefer it to Munich because it's a bit more compact, so everyone's in the same spot. Whereas obviously Munich's a much bigger city, so I preferred it personally. But the scenes in Munich on the night before the game were just incredible. But who knows, we might see similar tonight. So this is a sort of. So there's a couple of Swiss guys there, but it's going to be mostly Scots once we get into the centre, and you'll get a flavour of it.
You can hear them a mile away.
You able to see that all right?
Yeah, it looks great. They definitely don't.
I'll walk you through. I'll walk you from one end of the market to the other, right?
No problem. They definitely.
Just hoping Ryan doesn't befall the fate of the German TV boy in Munich too. You know, someone one of the kilts.
Definitely not bothered by the rain.
Here we go. This is a chaos.
I'm sure I've been kicked at that bar tonight.
Imagine being topless.
They've been quite big fans of Diego Maradona in here, I have to say. It's their favourite chant at the moment.
Ryan, are you getting the top off as well? Didn't hear that, did he? That looks brilliant.
Go on, Scotland!
Some proper bowler potential here. This could get dangerous.
I was going to say that, aye. Well, listen,
pretty fun scenes here, I have to say.
If you can still hear us, thanks very much for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Ryan, and fingers crossed for a result tomorrow.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, Ryan. There you go, Ryan Carroll live from Cologne.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Daniel, I can see you sweating there, and I can honestly that was the worst kind of Daz doorstep challenge. You can see your career flashing in front of your eyes there.
An Ofcom letter winging its way to record towers as we speak now.
Nothing to do with myself and Andrew. This is your gig. We're backing off. We're backing off.
Right, look, guys, let's finish with a few more upbeat questions, shall we? This one is kind of, well, as I say, we've seen an example of it, but Norman Graham, the fans have the design motivation. Can we have a team in the pitch with the same on Wednesday night? He wants the Celtic players dropped, but I think it's safe to say that if the team match the Tartan Army for Desire, Wednesday night won't be a problem, will it?
No, I mean, as I said, I think the players have been hurt by the criticism they've got. Some of it was deserved, some of it was probably a wee bit over the score. But they know that they'll have let the punters down. They've obviously travelled in their thousands, and they want to make amends. Listen, if the Euros were decided on who had the best travelling support, we'd be right up there, we'd be right in contention. But unfortunately, it's got to be decided on the pitch, and the punters have really, they've put their hand in their pockets. They've travelled with the team. They're cheering their thousands, and the players will know the way the strength of feeling, the way that how patriotic the punters are, and we'll just want to pay that back. So if they can tap into that, if they can just get that sort of braveheart spirit, for want of a better phrase, going, then listen, we've got every chance. So I just hope that it's. I just hope, again, I said this last week, I just hope they go in with no regrets. I mean, that was, there's nothing worse, than coming away going, we should have did this, or we didn't give our all, or we didn't greater potential tonight. There's nothing worse than that for a group of players. So I just hope that they come out and they go, listen, whatever the result, we know we did our best, and we'll see where that takes us. So that's my hope for tomorrow night.
And Mick, with a comment in here from Paddy Gowans, let's face it, we can't play any worse than we did against Germany. So let's have a real go at the Swiss and show them the real Scotland. And Eddie Easton as well. Instead of all the negativity, let's get behind the lads.
Yeah, I echo that as well. Listen, let's be honest. Scotland have got a track record for kind of falling flat in their face in the first game, major tournaments, then bouncing back in the second one. I vaguely remember back in 1990. Remember the Costa Rica defeat. After that result, talk about the media these days, they get absolutely savaged after that one, and come back out and got a result again against Sweden. Even the last Euros, the first game was a bit of a kind of anticlimax, wasn't it, at Hampden, and come back and get a great result at Wembley. So I expect a reaction. Listen, there's got to be. I think, listen, we'd take a point just now, wouldn't we? We'd take a point to give us something to play for in that last game, especially if Hungary could be out by that point practically. So yeah, I think there will be a reaction. I said last night, I'm not particularly scared of the Swiss. They're a good side, but I don't think they're any great shakes. They're very similar to ourselves actually. Mm-hmm. They've got they've got 2 or 3 really good players, but they're lacking a wee bit up top. They've got a midfielder playing at wing back because they haven't got a left wing back just now. So they're kind of mending to make do, a bit like us. So it's I think it's a fairly even contest. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring job. I think Switzerland might think a point suits them as well. It'd pretty much guarantee their spot in the next round, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. So they might say, and listen, these guys love a draw. I think they drew half a dozen of their qualifiers. So if they want to stick to 0-0, we'll take that as well, and we'll go up the road and we'll gear up for a big one on Sunday.
Well, look, I can't let you go without nailing you down to a precise prediction. Andy, how do you see it going tomorrow night in Cologne?
I think I went in the paper tomorrow. I think I went 1-1, so I'll stick with that. I can see us just getting a result that keeps us ticking over into a big shootout with the Hungarians and Stuttgart. So I think that's the way I can see it going.
Who's going to score?
I'm going to stick my neck out and go, just to please Mick, Cal McGregor off the bench. There we go.
Some shot for the bench.
Mick, what's your prediction?
See, I went 1-1 in the paper, so I can't see either side keeping a clean sheet. So I think 1-1. I would take a board draw, nothing each, but I also take 1-1. The question is how bold do we go? That's the thing. I'd love to see them getting 3 points, give us a bit more of a cushion in the last game. But yeah, I think a draw is the smart. That's where the smart money is going to go. Mm-hmm. So, but I've not kept up yet this Euros, so that says it all.
Well, listen, guys, as ever, it's been an absolute pleasure. I should say, if you're watching at home, you can obviously get in touch and leave comments in the comment section below on X, Facebook, and YouTube. And I should say that obviously tomorrow for the Scotland-Switzerland game, we'll have our live blog running on dailyrecord.co.uk/sport. You can follow all of the drama as it unfolds. Andy, Mick, thank you very much.
Cheers, boys.
Chaps, all the best.
And thanks to you watching at home. Cheers.